Here's another special edition of Misquote Monday. It combines 5 previously released episodes. Did C.S. Lewis really say, "Do not let your happiness depend on something you may lose"? Writers need to be careful about giving examples of what they do not agree with. If someone isn't carefully reading what's written, then the reader might falsely think you are agreeing with some notion. That's the case with this quotation. It's found in the final chapter of The Four Loves, but it's a sentiment Lewis does not agree with. Interestingly, this is Lewis's summary of a conclusion St. Augustine made in his Confessions. Lewis is addressing whether a person should risk giving their heart to another because of the potential of the pain of losing them. Lewis paraphrases St. Augustine as suggesting one should not give their heart to anything but God. Lewis disagrees, warning, who could conceivably begin to love God because the security, so to speak, is better? Finally, here's a quote more specifically addressing happiness that people should be sharing. Did C.S. Lewis really say, "A myth is a lie that conveys a truth"? You can choose to agree with this quote or not. That's not the point. The issue is whether Lewis is the author. He did not write this, and so don't claim he did. Isaac Asimov is credited with the statement that this quotation is probably a good paraphrase. Plus, there's a recent article about another person making a more concise statement along these lines. What were Lewis's views on myth? My friend Charlie Starr wrote a book on this topic, so it's impossible to fully explain it here. I did a podcast series with Dr. Starr, and you can see the description for a link. An essay by Lewis entitled Myth Became Fact, found in the book God in the Dock, is a good place to learn more about his views on myth. You're seeing one of the many great statements Lewis makes there in the nearly 2,000-word article. Did C.S. Lewis really say, "Be sure that the patient remains completely fixated on politics"? This is the first part of a lengthier statement that, as far as I can tell, debuted on social media in October 2016. The memes say it is from the Screwtape Letters, a book that was published in 1942. Lewis did begin each letter with "My dear Wormwood," and the last 2 words in all but 1 letter are "Uncle Screwtape." That's all that is correct about the images seen online. Lewis never ended the letters with "Keep up the good work." Instead, it was "Your affectionate uncle, Screwtape." Another fishy thing is the letter length. In his book, they are usually in the 800 to 1,000 word range. This letter is just over 100 words. My conclusion is someone was trying to write in the style Lewis did in his book and didn't want to take credit for what should have easily been seen as a copycat. Did C.S. Lewis really say, "There are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind"? Spoiler alert for this expression. The answer is, sort of. That is, the questionable quote adds 2 words. Lewis actually wrote, "There are better things ahead than any we leave behind." No big deal, right? Except context matters for even the correct quotation. Isolated, they may seem fitting for a graduation card or even words to encourage a person that they will have a better future in this present life. The problem is, in context, these words, found in a letter to Mary Willis Shelburne, are telling her to not be afraid of dying, which she was fearing at the time. So, when you consider the context, it is very unlikely that what Lewis meant is what you take away from the quote when it is this isolated. Did C.S. Lewis really say, "One of the most cowardly things ordinary people do is to shut their eyes to facts"? Everybody repeat after me. It is important to consider the context of a quote. One of my Facebook friends even created a meme to help you remember this. Thanks, David Jack. This quotation is in one of Lewis's books, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, a work of fiction. It's actually a diary entry from Eustace, and he credits it as a statement made by Harold, Eustace's father, whom he always called by his first name. While you could read into the quote that whoever's not agreeing with you is ignoring the facts, calling someone a coward is very unlike what the real Lewis would do. Additionally, if you've read Lewis, then you know the use of ordinary in this quote is not at all like how he would use it. He wrote, "There are no ordinary people."